We're at Supanova Pop Culture Expo in Perth talking to Vic Mignogna. How are you?
And we're missing the John Barrowman panel.
Yes,
I want to be there right now. I love John. No, I'm so excited to be here. I love Perth and Australia in general. I've been to so many events here, and it never gets old. I love all the people here and having a great time.
Oh, that's good. Now, the main reason why you're down under this time is because you've got Star Trek Continues, which is your web series. You're also a producer and also starring in it.
Yes.
And directing it as well.
It is, yes. It is my dream, my childhood dream project.
Yes. Well, for those that don't know, you did a Kickstarter.
Well, for those of you who don't know, I came up with the idea a couple of years ago, and then I funded it myself because I felt like I should probably make one before I ask people to give me money to make more. So I made one kind of as a proof of concept, if you will. We premiered the first episode literally like right at a year ago, like a year and 2 weeks ago. It was 1 year. And it was very well received. It was called Pilgrim of Eternity. And we premiered it at Phoenix Comic-Con, and it was very well received. And then after that, we decided to launch a Kickstarter to basically say, okay, this is what we can do. This is what we're able to do. This is the level we're operating at. If you'd like to see more, exactly. And we got a great response to fund 3 more episodes. We shot the second one. We shot the third one, which we're premiering here in Australia. And the 4th one's coming.
Well, funnily enough, I was never a massive fan of the original Star Trek, watched a few of them, but then a couple of weeks ago, I stumbled across Star Trek Continues and watched them both back to back.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I think you get the whole 80s vibe, 70s vibe in it. The
60s.
60s, yeah. Good.
Late 60s even. Yeah, it gets further than you think.
Further back. But yeah, it looks really good.
Well, that was the goal.
And the sets look dead on.
They are. They are. You guys, there are actually plans online, so you can go and see a layout of the original soundstage, and it's the original like diagrams. And our director of photography, Matt Busey, who's like a genius, also has a degree in architecture, and he took those plans and he extrapolated them with all the numbers. So what we've got is probably within inches of the original series sets, and no expense was spared to make them as good as we could make them.
We've got pretty much everything. How do you store it? Like,
well, we lease a building in Florida, where a 10,000 square foot facility, where all the sets, as we speak right now, those sets are standing. They're all standing there. All of the details are up there on the walls, and everything is done for us to walk right in and shoot.
Well, you should hire it out.
That's not the first time we've thought of that. Yeah, we've actually thought of that because, you know, there are a lot of people out there that have always wanted to make fan films or some kind of a Star Trek film, or maybe a corporate video, maybe a wedding, maybe, you know, it could be anything. But they never had the money to actually build them themselves. But maybe a day rate wouldn't be so outrageous.
I did a Star Wars fan film like 7, 8 years ago, and if someone had a set of something, we would have got it straight away. So
well, we're hoping to do that. We're hoping to do that.
So you've got a really nice cast that you got together as well. How did it go getting them together? They're all your friends, and you sort of made some calls?
To be honest with you, yes. As I watched other Star Trek fan productions, the thing that hit me the most was, man, the acting is just not that good. Yeah. That's not an insult. They're not actors. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, let's just call it like it is. They're not actors. If I went out on the basketball court to say, hey, man, you're not really a good basketball player, that's not an insult. I don't play basketball. I play a lot of other things, but that's not my thing. Acting is not a lot of these guys' things. They're fans, and they want to put on uniforms and do something that they have a passion for, but they're not actors. So from the very beginning, I wanted to do something that would have good actors playing the roles. And so I immediately thought of several friends of mine that I feel very close to, and I think they're good actors, and they fit the roles well, and I approached them, and they said, sure, sounds like fun. So Todd Haberkorn, Chuck Huber, Chris Doohan, my dear Michelle Specht, Grant Imahara, Kim Stinger are all really great at the roles they play, and I chose them for that reason, because I wanted the acting to be better. I wanted to be able to tell stories that you have to have good actors to tell. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like if you try to tell some deep story, you know what I mean? Some deep emotional, dramatic story with a lot of pathos and a lot of emotion, and you got some guy who can't act his way out of a paper bag, that story's going to fall flat on its face.
Definitely, and you've also got some nice little cameos of a couple of actors in there as well, like Lou Ferrigno pops up.
Yeah, Lou, you know what? I met Lou.
A couple of years ago.
I met Lou doing conventions. Come to find out, he's a big Star Trek fan when he was a little boy, and he found out what I was doing, and he's like, hey, I'd love to be in one sometime. And when we came up with the Lolani idea, and we had an idea where her owner, this slave trader, would come out, I thought, oh my gosh, Lou Ferrigno, green again? Oh my gosh. So he was happy to do it, and we had a great time.
Yeah, he looked really good as well.
Yeah.
That costume was impressive.
And then, of course, Mike Forrest, reprising his role as Apollo in the first episode. He played that role 45 years ago, and it was like a childhood fantasy camp to be in uniform as Captain Kirk, interacting with that man who interacted with Shatner as Captain Kirk 45 years ago.
Now,
crazy.
Did it feel a little bit weird when you got the bridge all set up, and the first time you took a seat in the captain's chair? Was there a moment where you sat back and just went, hey,
you know what?
Happening?
I'm so glad you asked that question, because I'm going to tell you guys something I don't think I've ever told anyone on an interview before. I've waited my whole life. I have dreamed my whole life of playing Captain Kirk.
Yeah.
I fantasized about it. I made little movies when I was a little boy. I dreamed of playing Captain Kirk. I imagined what it would be like to play Captain Kirk. And then I went to all of this effort to acquire a building, build the sets, make everything, get a cast together, get a crew together, fly everybody down there, and then there's the moment of truth where you've got to walk onto the bridge and you're thinking, holy crap, this is it.
Yeah.
What if I suck? Yeah. What if I'm just not up for this? And I've had this image in my mind all these years of playing Captain Kirk, and now look at everything that I've done. Look at all the money I've spent. Look at the months and months of construction and costumes. Yeah. And there was, it was very daunting. It was quite daunting to walk onto the bridge the first time as Captain Kirk, because Kirk exudes a confidence. Yeah. He's quite at home on his ship. It's his ship. So you can't kind of gingerly walk around. You got to be in command, literally. And after the first episode came out, and people were very, very kind about their responses, and they felt like I had done a good job with Kirk. The second episode, I eased into it a little bit more. And the third episode, you guys, is off the charts. I mean, it is classic Captain Kirk. So I appreciate the question. And yeah, it was quite a heavy shoes to fill. And I hope I did Mr. Shatner justice, because I love William Shatner, and I love his portrayal, and I would want to honor him.
Now, do you know if he's seen it at all?
I don't know. I can't say for sure.
That would be interesting.
I'm guessing he has. I don't know if he has, but I'm guessing that he has. And if he hasn't, I would say probably with the release of this third episode, he probably will very soon.
So after you get all the Star Trek thing done and dusted, and how many episodes are you planning on doing? As many as possible?
Well, you know what? Who's to say? We always kind of thought it would be fun to do. You remember he used to say in the original opening, these are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise. It's a 5-year mission. Yeah. Well, they only did 3 years in the original series. So we thought, wouldn't it be cool to pick up right where they left off and do year 4 and year 5, and then maybe even have our last episode be something that includes Kirk being promoted and going off to Starfleet as an admiral, McCoy deciding to give up the service, and Spock deciding to return to Vulcan and pursue the Kolinahr. So you leave the audience right where the motion picture picked up.
Okay. And what else do you have in the pipeline? Because you're a very busy man with all your voice work as well.
Well, a lot of stuff going on. I do a lot of event appearances. I love getting to meet the fans, no matter where. They're awesome. Yeah.
Well,
no matter
very
where.
Popular at all the conventions.
Well, I love the kids to death, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity to meet them. So I've got a lot of events lined up. I've got several productions that I'm working on, voice productions, animated series, video games, stuff like that. And then, of course, preparing for the next episode.
We'll maybe need to slow down a little bit.
Oh, no. I'm like a shark. You slow down, you stop swimming, you die. I just love being busy. And you know what? As soon as I think I'm going to lay back and take it easy, and I go someplace and I lay back, and about 6 minutes later, I'm like, all right, I should be doing something right now. I should be making something. I should be building something. I should be accomplishing something.
Yeah.
So I have a hard time slowing down. I like being busy.
Well, on that note, we'll leave you to it. Thanks very much for chatting to us.
Thanks, mate. Thank you
and,
so much.
Enjoy the rest of the show.